How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and picking up from yesterday, really, this is where I ended, and I ended up doing this the same night, but there was just too much video for one video. Yeah, the mission I'm doing tonight is called Prepare the Area Near the Dam, and the main thing is to build 2 roads. You end up needing to do a bit more, though. I build a bridge in the end, but I'll kind of take you through the process of how and why I ended up going for a bridge rather than I was originally going to build another road. So the first half of that road is fine, but the second half has got tree stumps and actual trees kind of in the way, which I think is pretty cool, to be honest. It's instead of just having like you fixing a road that's already there, you are actually kind of building a new one. So here I was kind of umming and ahhing. I could drive across there, or I can possibly build a bridge. And then the second road, same thing really, only that one near enough entirely runs through a forest that you've got to clear out before you can actually send them off fixing roads. So first things first, sent in, I can't remember what this is called, to be honest. It needs to bring the name up like in the top left or something. But it's the new, oh yeah, Aramatsu Kite, maybe. A tree stump mulcher. Once you get used to it, it has its few little like, sometimes the blades are too high and you just go over a log. Then I've lowered them, now it was chewing up the ground because it's too low and blah blah blah. Once you start getting used to it, you do get a bit quicker. I was able to basically get a double on the go here as well. I'd say the original mulcher is kind of more simple. It pretty much hits every log, crunches every log out of the way and all sorts. But yeah, clearing the area, I start pushing these trees over. In theory, you could bring a tree cutter and nip them out of the way. That might be useful. I'll explain why a little bit later. But to be fair, there's no lack of trees on this map. Even those tiny ones, when you ram them over, it says can't mulch here. It kind of automatically turns your mulcher off, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, there's loads of trees, so you're not going to run out of that. Obviously, this is objectively the quickest way. Just keep nudging them over. That's why I tried to go for a gentle one, so it didn't say can't like turn my mulcher off. Yeah, once I've got that cleared though, pretty simple, not too bad. This thing's actually pretty decent at ramming trees down. And then this is the section where I may have to build a bridge, etc. I was going to try and cross whilst I was going. Obviously, it went a lot deeper than I thought. That's what she said. I figured I'd just see though where the engine thing pings up. It's kind of at the back in the middle, but yeah, I just obviously like the front went in, but the snorkel's at the back, so you have a little bit of time before it starts moaning about it. Yeah, I drove all these vehicles to here just from the garage, which is right next to me anyway, just to save 4 fuel. I don't have 4 fuel, but so save spending 6 grand for fuel, recover all the vehicles with a loaf to the square that's basically right outside the garage anyway. So getting all these setting off, there was no real issues on this one. Well, at first actually I should say. For whatever reason the dumper truck was pretty damn slow versus all the other vehicles. I suppose in theory they should all just queue up behind, but you may want to set that up a little bit early than the others just so yeah, it has time to get ahead before they all catch it up. However, halfway through this road you can see where that dirt track kind of veers off to the right. That's where I went down in yesterday's video and ended up crossing like bits of mud and a broken bridge across the river part on the way to getting the links. So we'll just call that like the links road. Yeah, this thing started going wide, and you can see it goes blue for a second there, but then when the steamroller goes over it goes back to yellow. Long story short, it drifted too wide, it's missed too much paving, and yeah, it's not completing the mission. So I had to jump in it, get it going manually, and go back this way. I think at some point I just cancelled them, so it probably would have paved the rest of this, but yeah, I was like, I'm going to have to go this way anyway, so sod it. You'd think it'd be pretty easy, because there's the lines running along, and all the AI has to do is keep it between the lines. In its defence, this thing is weird to steer, because once you start going wide, you almost have to go more wide and swing the road paver thing wider to kind of correct yourself. I also just quickly touched up that beginning section. I kind of missed it out, and I was like, nope, OCD won't allow it. And then yeah, send the roller in. I ended up doing 2 main runs, because I was trying to make the road a little wider since I'd ended up having to manually do some of it myself. But yeah, got that done. Infrastructure, build road complete. Well, that's 1 of 2. And this is where things got a little bit more complicated than I would like. Not too bad, I've kind of edited through it as quick as I could. So yeah, again, and ahhing thinking, shall I cut across that sort of shallow mud section? or obviously at some point I'm going to have to turn that sand quarry on. However, it gave me the idea, since I've already got all my road building equipment here, obviously to build a bridge I need resources, and in the top right I have none, so which is fine, but I have to add that into the time taken to build a bridge. Yeah, since I had all my road building equipment right here anyway, and I literally need to cross here anyway, I thought, right, I'll build a road, I'll just dump some sand across there, smooth it out, didn't even necessarily need to pave it and all the rest of it, just have a rough idea of what's going on. So I wanted to turn the Scalper on. And if you look around, I would argue a lot of this land looks very sandy to me. But it keeps saying unable to activate, and I was driving around. I mean, alright, where I am right now, I did chop a lot of the footage out. I did try more places and everything than I sort of left in here. I mean, clearly, fair enough, it's moaning driving along here that it's look at like my tracks going up to the edge of the water all look like pretty sandy, kind of like, this looks like a pile of sand there, it wouldn't let me do it. I started driving across this like shallow mud bit to see if maybe it'd let me do it here. Unfortunately though, it was not having any of it. Yeah, again, like, I mean, look at to the south of the map. All of this looks like pretty sandy, broken up stuff, and you can see the sand quarry at the bottom. That looks very sandy. So I was kind of on an hour and thinking, oh, maybe I could try it over there. As I was reversing, started slipping off this kind of narrow line of shallow mud. In the end, I just recovered it to the garage. It was just quicker than even sending anything in to try and pull it out. Recovered to the garage, only took like 40 seconds to drive back here. So yeah, again, looking around, I would argue this all looks pretty sandy-esque kind of land. To be fair, this thing, it's almost got wedged on like a tree stump and that, but it made it down there. It's quite decent at towing this trailer around. Obviously it can be awkward in places because it does get stuck because there's loads of things poking out here, there and everywhere, but all things considered, it actually does handle the trailer quite well. Yeah, drove all around here and everything. It just would not let me deploy the Scalper, which means I have no way of getting a radius of sand kind of here to build this bridge. What I think they could do with doing, if that's the case, is, you know how you can look through resources? They need to add an overlay that tells you where sand is, so at least you'd know where you are able to deploy your Scalper. So yeah, obviously that changed the plan. In the end I was like, sod it then, I'll just drag a bridge across there. One good thing with this map, I didn't mind this in Sojourn, but Sojourn had a very distinct lack of trees. There was a few, you could probably, it'd take you a while to go around the map and get like a few little slim pickings here and there. Yeah, this wasn't too bad because I thought I'll send in this, it's Aramatsu crayfish or something. The logger, there's enough trees right nearby, and then yeah, just drop them straight in the square really, so you don't have to then get a log grabber thing or anything and kind of hoist them over there. Yeah, so I cut ahead to the M1. You can kind of see all the tree stumps of the trees I've been picking off. I quite like this thing. I do think this is sort of worth getting really. I'm on like a bit of an angle, leaning over to the side. It doesn't really get thrown around by the weight of the log or anything. It's got a nice turning circle. What's the other logger I've got? It's that like old tracked crane thing, which to be fair wasn't terrible, but I would argue this is quicker. It just seems, yeah, better in general really. And again, yeah, drive back over to the square before you sort of trim it all and drop it, so you don't have to yeah, you'd have to bring like a log forwarder in at that point and pick them all up. So that's the bridge done. That now gets me across there, and then now we're on the second road. So again, I already sent the dumper across, but first I'm going to have to send this thing back in. Start trimming some more stuff. I'll cut most of this out. I mean, for one, the weather was pretty terrible for quite a lot of the time on here. But my idea was, in general, that's where I was saying, like, when I rammed the trees over on the first road with the tree mulcher, you may want to just send this in the end then, and pluck them out as well, because I'm now grabbing a load of trees and knocking them off to the side of the road, but I want to keep them nearby, because a mission I wanted to do later was that helping the guy build the dam, and he needs 20 logs. So I kind of figured it's two birds with one stone. If I drive down here and clear all the trees out and actually save the logs, then yeah, I can kind of use them for that. Even though, again, it wouldn't be the end of the world because there's thousands of trees on this map, so you'll find some one way or another. Yeah, so anyway, got all that trimmed, got the road cleared, sent in this tree mulcher, and you can see, once you get a little bit more used to it, You can kind of smash through the stumps pretty quickly, really. It doesn't drive that fast when you're in mulcher mode, but once you take it out of it, it's also pretty rapid at travelling from place to place. So, yeah, overall, not too bad of a little vehicle as well. So, I had to turn the sand quarry on, which is fine. What I originally wanted to do, part of the reason I was bringing the Scalper in, was I wanted to see, someone said you can't use the Scalper to feed the AI vehicles if you're doing a road building request thing. I believe them, I just wanted to physically go and test it and check myself and everything. But I just couldn't turn the Scalper on to begin with, so yeah, in the end I was like, sod it, like I say, I built a bridge and turned the quarry on. Now, I sent the dumper truck and the dozer to flatten it as AI vehicles. This I'm driving myself. The reason why, it kept getting beached and it wouldn't even start, and then it kept blocking the steamroller. No, I just hit one of the logs. So what I did was sent the steamroller, like AI steamroller, and then I quickly jumped in this, so I'm still ahead of the steamroller. So I manually did the third process. The AI steamroller was just following behind me, which yeah, works out pretty nice. So got that one in the bag. That's like the main bulk of the mission done, but then that also unlocks you've got to draw a route. You can see now I've just got a nice clean run from my garage, my original garage, going north up the map to the dam. That kind of connects and branches off to various different places. So all in all, I think, obviously it's a mission, so you're going to do it anyway, but yeah, it's a mission worth doing quite nice and well, because I think it's going to be a pretty handy road to have. Yeah, so obviously drawing the AI is now going to follow all these different routes, over my first road, over the bridge, over my second road. This goddamn horse, he had to turn up. Make sure everyone's doing their job. I want to veer off to the left, but you can see just north of me, that's where the dam was, so get that connected up. And obviously in this game in general, it really depends a lot on, like, once you set vehicles off, it makes a big difference what vehicles they actually give you. This one, thankfully, is a Voron for a start, which these are pretty decent. I've had a few sketchy ones where they don't necessarily listen, and then the other one, though, it was two different vehicles. It also sent a mule. And you can see how much distance is between them. I think this Voron has actually burnt off ahead a little bit versus that mule. You can see the mule in the background just getting up to my bridge now. But yeah, I'd argue he's widened the gap. That's what she said. I was umming and ahhing on this for a potential thumbnail. That's one nice thing with looking at the AI camera things, it clears the whole screen except the top corner you got exit, bottom corner changed to cockpit, but apart from that, yeah, pretty simple drive. I'm glad it wasn't semi-trucks, but I think most things would make it because they're pretty decent roads, a nice flat bridge and all the rest of it. For whatever reason, the AI just goes to reverse, and he just kept reversing. I had another truck do that the other day. But yeah, the mule got there, they both counted, so that's that done. And I ended up doing that tonight, but I'll get to that tomorrow because this video was already... I tried to get it below 30 minutes, but one, I'm running really late, and two, I think I'll over-edit it. Right, the next mission, bring logs for the construction of the private dam. I assume it's going to go there, because when you click on it, it says old pump station will be restored, but I don't know, it moves your marker to that little gap there. So yeah, 20 logs. And obviously at this point, I've just gone down here building all these roads. There's shitloads of logs scattered here, there and everywhere. I believe there's 18 in total. I thought there was 17. Anyway, I'll get to that. For whatever reason, this was tonight. I seen I had 100 grand. Started going a bit mad buying some vehicles. I didn't strictly need this per se, but I bought it just to show you quickly kind of how it works. I'm rotating the actual chassis, and you can see it's angled versus the tracks, but once you hit like restore crane, it just flicks the whole thing back to the front, which is fine, but I'm just, yeah, it behaves a little bit kind of half and half. I don't believe it has anchor points or anything as well. And then I was looking, obviously I need a logger. I've already got some, but I was just eyeballing that, but I didn't have enough money, so I quickly just dragged a few forklifts to the construction zone, went back, so I've already managed to skint myself out again. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I quite like the dozer version of the logger, but I bought this thing nonetheless. Just gauge there how fast you think it's going, because I'll use the other one at some point and you'll see if you think there's any difference. Yeah, this thing, it's got like a giant front wheel and two smaller rear wheels. One thing I really didn't like about it, and this is why I don't use it for very long, apologies again that it's pissing down and it makes the screen look like, someone said like an old CRT TV, and I think they're pretty right. Look, it hovers like a foot above the logs and won't go any lower. It will go lower if you move it a lot nearer to your vehicle, but it's so annoying that it's like the piston that's on the actual truck that's sort of attached to the crane, that just needs to let you go a little bit lower. And yeah, you have to bring it so much nearer to yourself just to get that extra little foot drop to the ground so you can actually pinch the log. Is yeah, pain in the arse. So I wasn't too happy with it. I ended up picking 2 logs up. This bloody AI, it's not the only time he'll bite me. Comes ramming into me, knocks one of my logs, which just took me God knows how long to get in there because the crane is being awkward and kind of hovering an extra foot off the ground. So I parked that thing up. I was like, sod that, I'm getting me my dozer logger thing. Yeah, I think this looks like it's travelling at a faster speed. I quite like this. I used it a bit on Sunken, and I thought it was pretty decent. So I snatched the logs off that one. And I don't know, I mean, there is a point if you overextend, but it just doesn't, I didn't notice it with this one at all. And then we get a few problems now. You can grab the double log there. Grab this log, I think I kind of whip it up in the air a bit snappy, and it kind of wiggles me over. I should have fired me anchors out. But anyway, I tipped, at which point I got like, I don't know, probably getting on for 15 logs on the back, so not ideal really. I was like, right, where is he? There he is. It's a goddamn horse. It was loaf time. And I'll be honest, I mean, prepare for many minutes of loaf goodness going on. Yeah, fire a winch to it. Thankfully, it sort of lets me get one of the higher ones. Absolute no effort whatsoever. The loaf flips it. So off for another log. I kind of caught my crane on this tree this time, so then when I went to lift the crane, instead it hooked the tree and hoisted me over. I will say in this thing's defence, it was less tippy at the start. Obviously, the more logs I'm trying to ram on it, the more tippy it's getting, basically. The more need I have to put my anchors out every time. At the start, I didn't really have to. And look now, I knew about 3, 2, 1, yep. It's like, right, just stay in the light. I already know what's going to happen, because he's been a dick all night. Of course, clips the edge, like, yep, just enough. I was tipping back over like, oh, send the goddamn professional in again though. Yeah, thankfully you can get them edge winch point. I'm sort of, like, a lot of vehicles, it'd force me to get like the rear middle winch point that you'll end up dragging it sideways rather than flipping it. But yeah, because you can get the correct winch point, you don't even hear the loaf rev up barely. He tips it like it's nothing. So I believe I have 18 logs now, but I thought I had 17, so I just grabbed 3 extra with this. You can see one of the logs I went to grab, I tipped over the bloody truck again. And now the AI is in the way, but he's also ramming into my crane. And I can't fold that crane for 2 reasons. One, the engine's not running because it's tipped, and secondly, it wouldn't let me anyway because the logs are in the way. So I'm struggling more to tip it because that mule is ramming into the crane, so I'm almost having to try and lift the front of the mule at the same time. I got a bit of a run up though. Snagged it kind of up his windscreen, it eventually bumped off it, and yeah, get it flipped again. Damn horse of a vehicle. This was just one last little example. I just wanted to pass that log a bit nearer, just to save moving the thing that is full of logs again. And look, it just hovers above it. It's so annoying, and it every time I use that vehicle, it bit me like that, whereas I just picked 20 logs up with this thing. 21, I think, actually. And it didn't do it to me, so I don't know. I'm not happy with that. I wouldn't bother buying it. The dozer version of the logger is pretty cool, I think, this one. Yeah, so now I've got to drive him over to that guy's dam. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, you can see I've just kind of put the crane draped over the back because it won't let me pack it because there's too many logs. By the way, I was steering left all the time on this bridge and it wouldn't. I think because it's so heavy and I'm weighted, it's like doing a bit of a wheelie, so I'm understeering quite a lot, and bear that in mind because that'll sort of come to fruition in a minute. Started doing a bit of a drift there. There's a bit of a weird thing with this bit. I drifted the other day with the Land Rover on here. I'm pretty sure that drifted a bit, although you might be able to put it down to understeering. Yeah, going along fine. Left some pretty deep ruts in the mud, which I think pretty cool. I like the I don't know, accuracy with which it cuts through the mud. Each truck leaves its own kind of tyre print impression or track impression, and yeah, it seems pretty like accurate and detailed. They've got it sussed pretty nicely with that one. And yeah, up to now, things were going fine. Obviously, I kept tipping here and there when I was catching on trees and whatnot, and AI ramming me over. But apart from that, once I was now on kind of the open road, it was ticking along quite nicely. So I did a bit of a bad approach angle, so I just cut that out, but adjusted it. And yeah, I've got to try and get along this bridge. It's just so close to freedom. Apologies, like, I can't help it, obviously it's the weather, but you can normally see this bridge route a lot clearer when the weather's not pissing down with rain. Because it's pissing down, you get like ripply water, the lights shining off it. I can bet, so I'm really having to hold the camera up in like a pure bird's eye view to just even figure out where the road is. Now at this point I'm snagged on something, and it's either my rear axle, like the wheel is caught, or there's a possibility it's the anchor leg, like the bottom of that has hooked on the bottom of this bridge. And I reversed it there. I thought, oh man, I've overcooked it, turned the steering, the articulation, and floored it. Fingers crossed, hope for the best. Thankfully, by some miracle, I'm surprised given the amount of weight that's on here and all the rest of it. Maybe that log poking out to the left actually hit the bridge itself and stopped me fully going over. Yeah, I was like, bloody hell, now I'm going to go again. I'm living on the edge here at the minute. It felt like I was pushing my luck a tad more than I should be, and then unfortunately it felt like when I was actually just got out of the situation, I reversed, hit something, tipped over, engine flooded, and then yeah, by chance I thought, well, I did just buy this thing for no apparent reason and parked it outside the garage, so sod it, I'll send that in. Yeah, I just like, look, the tracks this leaves is different and distinct to the you can see how accurate it is as you skid around, and that it does push all the mud out of the way. Pretty cool, I think. So yeah, there's a little idea of where the snorkel is. At the back, a little bit to the right. Overall, got over here just fine though. Now, bear in mind, I drive in this way, so I'm actually now turning round at the back of the crane. That'll become a bit more important in a minute or two. The reason why I parked it here on a bit of an angle is hoping the weight of me leaning back will kind of offer a bit more weight for this. I was looking through the winch points. They're a little bit awkward because sometimes the log blocks you from firing these winch points out. And yeah, this was the issue though, like, start lifting this up. It's weird because I'm almost tipping over, but this thing looks like it's also being held up in the air, so I don't know if there was like some little balancing act going on. Maybe the crane was propped on the floor a bit, so it was like most of the logger was floating in the air. You can see there where I have to move it around, like, I think I've got to go between the logs and the tyres to have all 4 lines be yellow so it'll let me fire out the winch points. And yeah, it looked like I was going to pick it up the right way there. I genuinely don't think I detached the load. It was being a bit weird, if I'm honest. It detached it a few times that I don't think it was me. And then yeah, I went to move forward thinking I'll go nearer the logger, but because I've reversed the crane around, I actually drove deeper into the water. And yeah, drowned myself. I was like, bloody hell, I've made a right mess of this now. It's 2 vehicles. Loaf! Need some help. Turns into Tokyo Loaf. Nails both of them trees like a goddamn professional. He keeps going. Yeah, told you, there's something weird with that road that makes you drift. That's 3 vehicles now that have drifted. I like it, to be honest. Yeah, it's been a while, Tokyo Loaf. Back on SnowRunner Northport. He was drifting down the from the garage to the port. So the Loaf made it to the middle of this section without even close to drowning, so I cut that out to try and keep the video short. My cat was appearing at this point, so there was a bit of a weird edit there. Now is the risky bit, because Loaf's weakness on this game is definitely water, because they stiffed him out of a snorkel. So I've got to be pretty careful on where I drive with the Loaf. Put a winch over to this thing. Didn't really get the winch point I wanted, but I knew the plan. It's only offering me that front one, but I was like, sod it, at least it's not in the middle, so there should be some leverage. And yeah, I mean, again, the Loaf, goddamn professional, some kind of judo flip. Gets it back pretty much to its wheels. I don't know what I'm messing around doing. I was like, fuck it, just hit reverse. He's got the muscle. Goddamn horse, get yourself a Loaf. Yeah, again, now I've got to like carefully balance along this. I mean, it officially says engine flooded, so it touched the top. Engine flooded again. He's living close. At that point, you couldn't even see any non-redness in the engine, but he made it. He's a beast, been Loaf trained for this kind of situation. So then I stick a winch to this crane. Now, one, I'm pulling it out in reverse, remember, as far as the chassis, like the tracks are concerned. Also though, because I'm almost drowning, I can't get a better angle, so I'm having to pull it kind of a bit of an awkward angle like this, and it gets almost all the way, but then when I let go of the winch it rolls back, and it was sitting here thinking, right, let's have a little think about it. Long story short, I remembered for one to use towing mode on. If nothing else, I think at some point I had like, it was leaving the handbrake on, but I got it enough out of the water, switched to it, and then hit reverse, not forward, which, as now you can see I've packed the crane, I'm back to the way I should be. Yeah, like that's what bit me, was turning the crane round the wrong way. Threw me off. But yeah, of course, I mean, get yourself a loaf, he's goddamn professional. In the meantime, sorry, I've got to mention, the footage a minute ago, you'll see the logger thing was like bobbing up and down in the water. God knows what it was doing. Well, what it was doing is trying to go deeper underwater, underground. It was trying to vanish. At this point, you can just see the tip of the crane sticking out of the water, so pretty close to losing it. But again, see his way, he's over goddamn professional. He does not mess around. His weakness is water, and he still came out on top. Hoisting out there like it's nothing. Yeah, a couple of minutes ago. Well, I mean, pre-editing, more than a couple of minutes. But edited a couple of minutes ago, I'd managed to screw it up with the logger thing. Yeah, that new crane, whatever it is, Epex, I mean. Just calling it a tracked crane. Right, so I dragged it out of the water, drove up, just trying to reverse because I want to turn off to the left. The bloody thing starts tipping again. I don't know why, it suddenly went into a tipping frenzy at this point. So again, get yourself a loaf, flips it like it's made of aerogel and dreams. It really didn't feel like it weighed a lot. Get the front winch point, because I just thought, sorry, I'll kind of hoist him a little bit further out of there, since just kind of the deep grooves dug into the mud were sort of making it tip over. So, all I need to do is get up this hill. What could possibly go wrong? Well, let me tell you. Yeah, there is a bit of a weird bump on the hill on one side that wasn't helping, but long story short, this thing's just run out of somewhere between grip and power. I mean, I'd probably argue power, really, because when I'm leaning on various wheels, they sort of stop spinning. So, Loaf drives up the hill like it's nothing, as usual. These bloody... One thing really does annoy me in this game that they need to fix. You have to enter the winch mode thing to click towing on or off, but you're aiming the winch at that point, so then you turn towing on, but it fires a winch sometimes not to your truck, and that screws that up anyway. Yeah, so I ended up, I think, firing the winch to a tree, and I let go of the dozer, and it nearly fell back down the hill. Thankfully, it didn't quite tip over or anything, so I found a new winch point, got towing on, got it. I think the Loaf would have pulled it up there without towing on anyway, but I just was doing it because it seemed like the sensible thing to do. I just figured out it was the best thing to do for hoisting that crane out of the water. Yeah, drove a couple of feet ahead, and the bloody thing rolls again. At this point, like, for God's sake, I'm not even... I'm not disappointed I get to have plenty of Loaf time, but yeah, it was like, I like to do missions in one hit. I mean, in theory, I suppose I could have brought 2 vehicles with 10 logs each, and they'd be a hell of a lot less likely to tip because there's less weight, stacked less highly. But yeah, it was going pretty well up until 7/8 of getting across that bloody river. And then, yeah, this thing turned into a tipping maniac at this point. Loaf's a goddamn beast. Pulls it right through a tree. He's not playing games anymore. We need to get a dam built. After all, he is a goddamn professional. You didn't get that name for nothing. So, I was thinking like, well, I mean, I've only got a few feet to go, what could possibly... Of course. Loaf? I'm not even turning around and winching it, just pure Loaf horsepower. You can push that thing over like it's nothing. And yeah, as usual, get yourself a Loaf. I was like, right, I'll leave the Loaf there, because this thing tips when it's not moving. It's a bit like, imagine riding a bicycle. It's easier not to tip over on a bike when you're moving forward. The faster you're going forward, the less time it has to think about tipping. When you're still, see there, like if I was going half a mile an hour there, it probably would have kept going and tipped. You almost get like some centrifugal weight on the go, and you're actually propelling yourself forward. It's not as bad. But get here, detach the straps, and it catches it all in. Actually, damn son, yeah, unlocked another achievement. Looking at it like that is the most hokey, redneck, sketchy ass looking bridge. dam thing, whatever it's supposed to be. It looked like it was more effort to make it that wobbly than not. Yeah, you see I've got one log left, so I must have collected 21, not 20. It was that extra one that did it. It screwed me over. Yeah, this is where it built it though. It's like a little dam at the minute. Of course I had to send in the goddamn horse to have a look at it, just investigate, make sure it's up to standards. Yeah, you can see, I mean, it's got concrete blocks wedged in there, logs, a bit of a tractor. It's actually quite smooth on this bit, despite appearances. But yeah, what a day. What a day to be a loaf. Get yourself a loaf. He's a goddamn professional. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope that helps, and I'll be back soon.